let's look at the kinds of things you're going to need for painting. And this is targeted to uh, beginning painters, youth painters. This is a minimum sort of list of things that you're going to need. So to start with, you need a piece of foam core or cardboard, doesn't really matter, just as long as they're rigid. And you're going to cover the foam core with clear packaging tape. Let's see if I can find it. This is just Scotch brand clear packaging tape. And the reason we do this is it seals the board so that when you're painting and water gets on here, it won't get messed up, basically. It won't soak into the paper of the board. And what we're doing with this board is we're taping our watercolor paper down to the board. And the watercolor paper I recommend is Canson's 140-pound weight. This is important. There's a 90-pound weight paper that's really too thin and creates a problem with waviness. So this is a good brand. It's a reasonable price. I got it on Amazon. So once I've got my watercolor paper, I'm taping it to this board, and you can see this already has a piece of watercolor paper taped down. And you can use plain old masking tape, or painter's tape is even better. This is just less expensive. The trick to using this is when you tear a piece of tape off, stick it to your pants a couple of times. Can you hear that? I'm just getting lint off my pants and then putting it down on the paper. And the lint is going to keep it from sticking so much that it tears the paper when we pull it off. So far we have our foam core board, our paper, masking tape, and that's the surface prepared. Next thing you're going to need is either a regular Ticonderoga pencil, HB, or I like these Pentel mechanical pencils. They're called Twist E's. This is a 0.5 millimeter pencil. You can get 0.7 is fine. The tricky handy thing about this is it has an eraser built in that expands. So this just saves, on having to sharpen your pencil. If you have a pencil like this, you're going to need a pencil sharpener. And let's see if I can find mine. Yeah. So this is what I use for pencil sharpening. It's not necessary to get the two sizes. This is just something I have. So if you're going to have a pencil like this, you need a sharpener and an extra white drafting eraser or pink pearl. Doesn't matter which one, but you need an eraser. So this is for drawing our designs on our paper before we paint. Okay, next you're going to need brushes. Now I found this set on Amazon, and I'll send out a supply list, but this was relatively inexpensive. If I remember correctly, less than $10 for the whole set. They're good springy, soft, synthetic brushes. They come in a nice range of sizes. If we were doing bigger paintings, you might need bigger brushes, something more like this, but for the youth class, this is plenty. And again, I found this on Amazon, and I'll send out a list. So there's my brushes. Paint for youth. I like these Prang half pan 8 color sets. They come in either this rectangle or oval And I have the oval coming, and I like the oval ones because you can buy refills. So you can buy these on Amazon too. This set, the oval one, is like $4. Now the refills are slightly more expensive because you get like 12 in a box. So if you get refills for just the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, this can last a really long time, and you can mix your secondaries then. So that's just something to think about. But to start out, you want your Prang 8 color. Okay. What else do you need? We need to have a Sharpie. I like this one because it's got a fat tip and a fine tip. The other kind of pen is really handy to have is this Jelly Roll white gel pen. You can get these on Amazon too. They're really cool for design work and making highlights on a painting that's already finished. So those two things are very handy. Next thing is a spray bottle. You're going to want a spray bottle to prep your paint. So I like to take my spray bottle and actually squirt water into the wells of color and into the mixing tray so that my paint's already dissolving and ready to use when I start painting. So that's handy. You can find these water bottles in the cosmetic section of any Rite Aid or Bartell's. They're in the section with the travel-sized shampoos, toiletries, that kind of thing, and they're very inexpensive and super handy. And very fine mist, which also comes in handy when we're painting, so highly recommend having this. Q-tips for dabbing up spills or lifting color, handy, nice box of those. A jar with a lid for water, I keep that handy. What else? Hair dryer. You want to have a hair dryer already plugged in and sitting next to you when you start painting. As you go, if you don't want colors to bleed into each other, you're going to have to dry in between layers or in between laying down color. If you don't dry, things are just going to run together. And sometimes that's what you want, but sometimes you don't. So a hair dryer is really important. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else? I don't think so. I think that does it. And like I said, I'll send a supply list out for everybody interested in my classes. Thanks. We'll talk to you soon.